Some San Diego and LA patients suffering from a horrible disease are turning away from what they say is hopeless medicine and making a trek to San Clemente to be part of a research group. It's a group with incredible stories. Here's KUSI's Charlotte Stark with more. Charlotte?
Well, Susan, the research is on this nutritional supplement, and like the movie Lorenzo's Oil, if you saw it, this new research is largely ignored by the medical community, yet the results appear to be nothing less than remarkable. Tonight, we take you on a fascinating journey with Lou Gehrig's patients in a story we call Final Hope.
So as the swallowing reflex is weak.
Based on the true story of a little boy dying from an incurable disease, Lorenzo Odon's parents defy medical professionals who say there is no treatment. They find a special oil that normalizes fatty acids in the brain and gives Lorenzo hope and the ability to communicate, although he is still handicapped.
You think you can move your little finger? Come on,
Their courageous trek sounds a lot like this.
A year ago, Virginia was pretty bad. She had no use of her hands and no speech, very little use of her feet, could barely hold her head up.
In this conference room at a company called Cinerex in San Clemente, a research group of mostly ALS patients share their stories, stories of descending into a lonely, painful, and crippling world of Lou Gehrig's disease, a form of muscular dystrophy. Virginia Newsel of San Diego is in the advanced stages.
A year ago, we was pretty near to the end, I think.
And here's Olga Gehrig, brought here a few weeks ago by her daughter, a nurse, after getting the usual prognosis of death in 2 to 5 years. She's lost her speech. She couldn't swallow and drooled heavily. Desperate for help, they too heard about something going on here.
I'm just not going to sit here and just watch my mom die. Why not try anything?
When Gail Cartwright came, she couldn't raise her hands over her head or button a shirt. The loss of muscle control is normal for ALS patients.
I used to pray to God and say, I need a scientist because the doctors can't do anything. I need to find a scientist that can. And I found out about Tom.
Enter Tom Leahy, an organic chemist and maker of the reason that these people and about 40 others drive from Central and Southern California to get this, LutiMax.
And this stuff right here, you can eat, and just a little bit, that much, is what changes what you see in these people.
It's a dietary supplement with luteolin, an antioxidant that, combined with others, neutralizes free radicals.
It's found in broccoli, kale, parsley, artichoke leaves. All the green cruciferous vegetables have what's called bioflavonoids in it. These are nature's natural antioxidant chemicals that protect our immune system and protect our cells from damage. In layman's terms, this is actually doing what the body cannot do in a diseased state.
Now the journey into darkness takes a turn that might sound too good to be true. But we can tell you these people have not been paid to tell their stories. Though they get the LutiMax free as part of the test group, some have to drive hours to have their progress monitored.
She's come a long ways.
Her arms once locked to her chest, Virginia Newsel now holds her head up, opens her hands part way, and is able to push her chair backwards herself.
You show off. Wow, that's great.
Mike Pearson from Hemet could hardly walk. His arms shook, his legs swelled.
Within 3 or 4 weeks, the swelling went down. I had warmth back in my legs and ankles. I could actually move my left foot again.
And Gail?
People were noticing a big difference in me.
I pretty much want to start telling all my patients that come in, that have neurological diseases to try this. I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
And there are more stories from a San Diego ALS support group headed up by Don Copeland.
The ALS patients that I've seen on LutiMax, I've seen some patients that generally weren't able to move at all, who after a certain period of time on LutiMax appeared to be able to regain some of their mobility.
Yet here's the dilemma. The medical community seems to ignore these stories. Tom Leahy patented the formula and is trying to get it FDA approved.
This is the 2002 Jerry Lewis Muscular Dystrophy Association Telethon.
But he is also trying to get the attention of organizations like the Muscular Dystrophy Association to get a true, unbiased scientific test done. But getting testing done by the very organizations aimed at helping ALS patients is not as easy as it sounds. And coming up tomorrow on the KUSI News at 10, we'll tell you about a late-breaking development in this story regarding MDA. Plus, think it's snake oil? Well, you will hear from Tom Leahy answering the tough questions and hear more just amazing results in people with other diseases as well. People who could barely speak at all now speak almost clearly. Judge for yourself if you think this is real or not. The second part of Final Hope tomorrow on the KUSI News at 10. Back to you in the studio.
Charlotte, it certainly sounds interesting. I mean, time will tell. Who knows what the progress will be, let's say, 6 months from now.
Exactly. And for these patients, you know, to get 6 months of a higher quality of life is a great gift.
Of course, of course. All right, Charlotte, thank you. We look forward to your report tomorrow.
All right.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Well, a break in a story we told you about yesterday regarding Lou Gehrig's patients taking part in a controversial research that has been virtually ignored by the entire medical community. Here is KUSI's Charlotte Starr. She has the latest for us right now.
Well, the latest development is that this research is finally getting some attention. You'll see what happened in a moment. But first tonight, we take a more critical look at the product, LutiMax, and its creator. Is he a Vitamin King wannabe selling hope in a bottle, or is this story perhaps more similar to Lorenzo's oil? It could be a breakthrough in research that takes us around big drug companies and straight to a nutritional key to helping some people cope with neurological diseases. It just may be, for some, their final hope.
Come on, my love. Tell your brain to tell your hand to move your little finger.
In the movie Lorenzo's Oil, the parents of a child diagnosed with a rare, deadly disease research a treatment based in olive oil. And despite being shunned by the experts, they find amazing results for their boy, although he's still handicapped. The story is true, and so are the stories we found in this research group in San Clemente.
They pretty much said 2 to 5 years from time of diagnosis that my mom would pass.
A group of San Diego and LA Lou Gehrig's patients and others suffering from neurological diseases are migrating by word of mouth to get this, LutiMax, a dietary supplement based on luteolin created by Tom Leahy.
It's a dietary supplement. It's found in broccoli, kale, parsley, artichoke leaves. All the green cruciferous vegetables have what's called bioflavonoids in it. These are nature's natural antioxidant chemicals that protect our immune system and protect our cells from damage.
But when I talked to one MDA neurologist, Dr. Leo Chirage, says of LutiMax, quote, "We don't recommend it. The only treatment we recommend is Rilutech. Rilutech, an FDA-approved drug that costs $800 to $900 per month. It's prescribed to extend the life of an ALS patient 3 to 4 months, but many experts say it provides no lifestyle improvement, and some patients don't even bother. The cost of the LutiMax, if it were for sale, it would be an average of $100 to $150 per month. So we ask, why won't the experts, like those at the MDA, at least test the LutiMax?
This is the 2002 Jerry Lewis Muscular Dystrophy Association Telethon.
Leahy and a pair of his patients have contacted Jerry Lewis asking his team to take a look at it. Susan Ortega's husband is a Los Angeles area firefighter. MDA flew him to the Jerry Lewis Telethon to help raise money. Bob Ortega says he's had immediate speech improvements, nearly stopped shaking in his arm, and has energy and says he sleeps well.
I had taken the Louis on about 15 minutes before he came in. As I was speaking to him, my voice began to get better.
The improvement was so drastic that when we went back to visit the guys at the fire station, they just all were amazed. They said, "You have your voice back."
Susan talked to Jerry Lewis here in San Diego, begging for him to get his researchers on it.
After a lengthy discussion, he gave me his word that he would do that.
Bob was flown to see the head of Muscular Dystrophy Association's ALS research group in Houston. Dr. Stanley Appel, a world-renowned expert, tells us the results could be, quote, real or not. He says the issue is not if luteolin is a miracle drug. The issue is, will it stand up in a rigorous trial? And when I asked if he would do that, he said yes, they would be interested if someone pays for it. But drug companies won't pay because they have no financial benefit. Right now, Leahy and investors privately support the business and say they are finding results with other neurological diseases as well.
MS worked, psoriasis worked, people got up and walked, their scabs went off their bodies, literally like they were saying, where literally the age spots were coming off their bodies, and this happens to do that. It's a little too good to be true.
Yeah,
so,
okay, so here's the point where
Right.
people say, no
right,
way.
they go, right, here's
no
the snake
way.
oil.
So is this snake oil, hopes and prayers, sold in a bottle? Is Leahy just in it for the potential money?
We lose $30,000 to $50,000 a month, and my other company pays for this to go on. And we do research here, and what we're trying to do is we think we've been given this gift that will really help mankind. It will change the whole way disease is looked at from a front-end point of view to stopping the initial cause, not treating a symptom.
He doesn't claim that it's a cure, but appears to be a way to create a better quality of life using the luteolin in a sort of antioxidant cocktail with other antioxidants recommended by the MDA, like vitamin E and creatine and CoQ10, just to name a few.
We just wanted someone to look at it because people are ill and dying, and we want someone to say, yeah, this is really it, or no, it's really not. But we know really it's something.
Now, the San Diego ALS president says that she has seen personally some people taking it who say they feel better. Some others say nothing improved and their condition declined. But finally this week, the Muscular Dystrophy Association, head of research and development, told me that they will look at the data, and after they review it, they will decide whether or not to do a pilot test of 15 patients. For those wanting more information, you can contact the LutiMax company at www.lutimax.com. Back to you.
Just amazing. I mean, it's worth to see if it works, and I'm glad they're going to be doing the research on
I
it.
am too. Might as well look into it.
Absolutely.
What can it hurt?
Yep.